Here we are again, Canadian wrench. 1991 GMC Sierra pickup. I've got no wipers. And look, we've got snow. So we need wipers. Let's check it out. I don't use this thing much in the winter. I doubt it'll actually go anywhere. But anyway, we're gonna fix up these wipers. It's not too cold today, so I'm just gonna get it done. I gotta throw the snow tires on my wife's car as well. Get that thing more ready for winter, because winter is here. All right, I'm gonna brush all this off and we'll get started. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'll show you what's going on, or really what's not going on. So turn the key on, you have ignition here, and I turn the wipers on like that, and there's nothing. And if I go to the motor, like right here, and give it one of these, or maybe three, they start up. So that's obviously not the way wipers are supposed to work. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this cover off and change the circuit board in behind. First, I'm gonna turn these wipers off. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna unplug that connector right there. Sometimes just in here, there's a little, like a little key or whatever, a little plastic tab anyway that goes in there and stops that plug from ever sliding off, even though it's got a lock on it, which is gonna hold it on fine. So it was double secured. And then we're gonna remove these 4 screws right here and take that circuit board out. Yeah, when I said 4 screws, I actually meant 3. So if you actually pop that one out, loosen and loosen these things, this plastic cover on the old one anyway, is just notched. So you can actually just pull it out, and then you don't have to fiddle around getting these little screws back in, because that can be quite difficult. All right, there's the circuit board we want. We're gonna pull on the back side of that plug, so just back in there, and just sort of ease it out of there very gently. All right, so I got one of these hook tools, wrapped a little bit of electrical tape around the end, and I'm just gonna put it in there and pull down on that corner, down in here. Seems to be stuck down in there. I'm not reusing the circuit board, but if you were going to, that's what you would do. All right, perfect. So all I did really is exactly what I said I was gonna do. I put it in there, and as soon as I put it in and put a little pressure outward, that corner popped. And now you can see the whole board is moved out. We'll set that hook tool over there. I also, when I was doing that, I pulled on this electrical connector right here. So here we go. What are we looking at? Very dirty contact right there. Another one there. And from what I understand, or any research I've done, look at all that crap in here, all this dust and everything, is where when the motor is stationary and this connector is there, there's a little bit of torque on these few circuits, and they tend to break like a cold solder joint. So you could just touch them up with a soldering iron and see if it works, or you can spend like 50 bucks like I did and buy a new one of these. So I'm gonna get the new one, we'll put it in and we'll give it a test. Okay, back at the toolbox where it's nice and warm. So we'll just confirm we got the right one. So let's just check out the shape. And I don't even want to open the package, because if I have to return it, that just makes it a little bit harder. So yes, that looks the same. The size looks the same. It's got the 2 contacts. Can you see those? Those 2 right there. It has those on there. And they actually look a little bit higher, a little more springier than these, but whatever. So maybe I'll put a little dielectric on those 2 once I get this out of here, and we'll stick it back in. All right, here we go. In this wiper motor pulse board, that's what it's called, made by Dorman, and there's the part number. But I always think that you should just go to the parts guy and look it up by application instead of me giving you a part number, and it's wrong. Anyway, what do we got here? We got a cover, and you can actually put a little bit of silicone just up against the motor if you want. Which reminds me, we're gonna have to clear off the old silicone if it has any. We got a couple screws, actually 3. this foam and the circuit board, of course. Now I wondered, is this foam supposed to go in between the circuit board and the... No, because it's way too big. I think it's just packaging. And for once, I read the directions just to make sure. 26 inch-pounds, that's what you're supposed to tighten those screws to. We all know what that is. Just enough with a screwdriver, right? Not too much. So let's take these parts out, we'll put them on the truck. All right, so what I did is I cleaned up this surface all around the motor. I put a little general purpose grease down here on the worm gear, and I put some dielectric grease around there. And dielectric is like this kind of stuff. So now I'm gonna put the circuit board in. Yeah, I wish I had a bit of silicone to put around here. I don't. All mine has become solid. So get another tube of silicone, I can just pop that cover off and do that again. But for now, we'll get the circuit board in there and we'll get that cover back on. Okay, so just around that plug, so you know, right here and at the bottom, there's a little channel that holds that slot. So obviously, you have to line those up and then just slide it in. Now, just a point about these contacts. If you're going to use the old one, I just maybe give them a bend upward a little bit so they have a little more tension. Just a little bit. All right, I'm going to slide that guy in. Can I do it with one hand? Oh yeah, I can too. Look at that. One-handed wonder. Okay, we'll get the circuit board cover and put those screws in. All right. So, cover's on. I should have maybe said that expect a little bit of resistance with that circuit board when you're putting this cover on, because those contacts are a little spring-loaded, right? So you'll just hold them in with your finger, slip this cover in under here, then under there, and put it in place, hold it with one finger, and then do these screws up. So I'll just make sure they're all tight. Notice I'm using a screwdriver, not a gun, because it's 26 inch-pounds. It's not a lot. All right, plug in that connector. We'll give it a test. All right, so I'll put the key in the ignition if I don't wipe out in the snow here. Turn the key on, and let's turn this switch on. Couldn't find it, looking through the camera. Beautiful, look at that. The way it should be. All right, no more having to get out, smack the motor, and get it going while it's raining. Okay, nice little fix. Fairly cheap, like I said. Don't know what else to say. Thanks for tuning in. Share, like, subscribe.